Alright. So, I told y'all in the review of last week, or like the outlook, and then the review that we did, that I said I was going to be interested in price if we took one of the extremes of the range, and this got hit. Why is it so thick? What? Oh, because there's three lines there. That's why. I was interested at some form of reaction from this level. And then if you look below, we have a 4-hour fair value gap here. So that was my key level. This is exactly what I was looking at this morning. So if we break that down now on a lower time frame, what do we see? This is also a part of experience, but we have our area of interest. See the very shallow jab into the 4-hour FEG and into the low. And now we have SMT here. So all I need is the lower time frame confirmation. What is that? Well, ideally I like to trade the CSD, but I will also trade an inversion in this example. And you can see price does both without giving a deep retracement. And ideally when I see this continuation, this is an unimportant high. So I want to see speed and fair value gaps through this high. Fair value gaps getting created through highs and lows show that you are on the right side. Show that price is eager and willing to continue to go higher. So that's what you want to be seeing. So when I saw this, I wanted to ideally see this 1 minute fair value gap to stay open. After I saw it created, I initially was trying to get my entry here. I was unable to do so as price ran. So what did I do? Time frame refinement to the 3 minute. So this is where we got the 3 minute CSD, and this is where I went long. I got filled right there at 129. Where was my stop loss? Here's my entry, 129. And I wasn't going to have my stop loss all the way down here. I didn't want price to retrace that deeply. I honestly wanted to see this 3 minute fair value gap stay open. So that was my logic on where my stop loss was at. So this was that 3 minute fair value gap. This is also that 1 minute fair value gap. I also don't want to jam my stop because I'm not trying to be perfect. Trading the NASDAQ with 13 point stop is not for me. Yes, you could have had it here, but I chose to just let it, if it wanted to stab all the way through here, it could. So I was completely content with where my stop loss was. I had a 40 point stop loss, and then we were looking for our 2-hour target, which was not unrealistic whatsoever. What did we have above as a draw? We had London highs, and ideally I was just looking for these smooth 5 minute highs up here, which is where I went break even at. So I told y'all 186.50, I was going break even. I went break even there. Almost stopped me out, which is completely fine, and then I ended up going back up and hitting my take profit. This ran 80 points. Price ended up going an extra like 60 or so above. I'm not interested in any of that. And then you can see where we ended up. Just kind of chopping around. And now we're like heading lower, I believe. So we would have been stopped break even on any runners. Also, why was I not holding for London highs? Why was I only holding for a 2-hour conservative target? Well, if we look at how the day opened, here's the 18 o'clock candle. Just go to the hourly, it's just easier. Here's 18, right? How does 18 open? Open highs, doing what? Clearing out a short-term high. Inside of what? Hourly FEG. And then what do? We displace lower. Doing what? Respecting bearish imbalances. Closing below up close candles. And those continue to be used as support for lower prices. So when you have a large opposing run like this, you have to taper your expectations for the upside move. You have a large opposing run lower, and I'm just trusting that the speed here from this morning and the SMT with ES, as well as this opposing run occurring at 9:30. What do we always talk about? Key times. This is that 9:30 judo swing, and this is the displacement on the lower time frame that I'm trusting to take me to at least a 2-hour trade, and 2-hour was just up here, which was already conservative. So you can see price does what? Ends up just getting into another hourly fair value gap, another opposing candle so far, and then we're continuing to go lower so far. So that is why I lowered my expectations. The large opposing run from the new day open of Tuesday, and then I was able to trust this because of the speed from these lows, the reaction at the level that I already planned prior to taking the trade, and also this opposing Judas swing or opposing run occurring at 9:30. So you guys can see the entry logic is always the same. The trade only works if the higher time frame framework and narrative is there, paired with a key time. So what did I tell you guys always? I want my volatility driver to be validating what I'm looking for. If 9:30 would have just opened and continued to just go through these lows, I would have not been interested in price action. 9:30 was the manipulation. Then we got the expansion away. And I was also trying to get in before the 10 a.m. news because I didn't want to see price take that long off of this low, off of this sweep here. So that is why I trusted this, and I was completely okay with holding if I needed to through 10 a.m. And it actually did all of that before 10 a.m. And then what time does price slow down? Price starts to slow down after 10 a.m., which is that high impact news folder. And I'm pretty sure that 10 a.m. was the high of day. Yeah, so far. So that was the other thing. So like if I'm going to be trading the opposing run, I want to be out or at least break even or partial, etc. at the next key time, especially since I'm trading against order flow. Does that make any sense? What up, Cake? Liquidity sweep, reaction off higher time frame value gap, SMT, CSD inversion for low time frame continuation, retracement for CSD entry. Exactly. And all of that, I'm trusting all of this because I have my level. It's happening at a key time, which is just 9:30, our volatility driver, and that I'm just letting the opposing candles now that are getting formed do its job. If I were to get stopped out, it's just a part of doing business. I have logical, clear, and conservative price targets, and then you guys can see what occurs, right? This is all kind of just like low resistance liquidity up here. See how that's like all kind of stacked on top of each other, which is also sitting inside that hourly fair value gap. So another reason why you could have been all out up there. But that's why I chose the even lower hanging fruit here, because I don't need all of this to make money. I'll go over it one more time for anybody who just came in. In the review, we went over this, the external range that I'm looking for. I wanted to see if I could frame some sort of trade off of this low. We have a 4-hour fair value gap there as well. You don't need the PD array. Highs and lows are PD arrays. They're forms of key levels. So this is just an extra confluence, which is nice. Dropping down to the lower time frame, I understand that the higher time frame has been bearish. I actually wanted to short overnight if I was able to, but we never got this 4-hour CSD when I was awake. So this was the perfect trade idea here. This is what I would have taken overnight. Literally would have shorted here. My stop loss would have been here, and my take profit would have been these lows. Literally wouldn't have trimmed until this low. So I would have had almost a 5-hour trade. This is just this would have been this is a propulsion block here because you have the first up close candle that ran out the short-term high. There. New week opening gap gets closed below. Not what you want to see. I told y'all that I was already leaning bearish just because of the 4-hour CSD. And then displacement away from this area. And then this is the confirmation here, the continuation entry to continue to go short. So I missed that because I was not awake, but I understood that this could offer a potential area of a trade. So I'm not trading before 9:30. There is no news until 10. So 9:30 is my first potential volatility driver. I went to the 5 minute to see what we was looking at. This is not a potential short into this low for me because it never ran out or rebalanced in inefficiency. I'm not just trusting that these highs. I'm not. It's just not for me. I don't like trading these sort of order blocks. So price does this. Price comes down. We close below, validating this as an up close candle. Uses that as resistance. Goes lower. Hits our key level. I went to the 1 minute because I wanted to see the reaction right after 9:30 because I'm expecting 9:30 to start to validate what I'm looking for. The first PD right that's here on this time frame is just this 1 minute inversion. I would have taken this inversion if we didn't get such a large closure above, but we did. We also got a 1 minute CSD here, and I'm not longing this because this is a 16 point difference, almost 17 points there, so I'm not just longing the closure either. Ideally, I had orders placed here, tried getting a pullback, it never came. Also, same thing, when this fair value gap was left up or was created, I had my order here, stop loss was down here, and price ended up running away from me again. So I'm not continuing to chase. I just look for a higher time frame area where price could possibly come back to. What do we have? We have a 3 minute order block. So to me, I've already established what I'm looking for. 9:30 did the damage. All the lower time frame PD rays are being used as support now instead of resistance. And so I went long right off of 129. I saw the 3 minute fair value gap was here. I wanted that ideally to stay open because of this lower time frame price action. It overlapped with this 1 minute fair value gap. So instead of squeezing my stop into this, the low of this fair value gap, I just used the candle body here as my stop loss, just to give it breathing room. And I understood that I was most likely able to get 2R out of this trade because we had these relative equal highs up here. You look in the 5 minute, this is what I was anticipating to get ran out. It was also sitting right below. It was the low of this 5 minute or this 15 minute fair value gap. And the hourly fair value gap was up here as well. So all I'm doing is waiting for a retest, which I got here. I went break even up here at 86 and a quarter because I understood that is a logical level for price to potentially stall at. Why am I tapering my expectations? Why am I not holding my full position until London highs? Well, this is exactly why you can't pattern trade. Here is 18 o'clock. How does 18 o'clock open? It opens high into short-term highs, into what? PD rays. And then price continues to go lower. We went over this a little earlier, but 1 hour opposing candles getting closed below. We have fair value gaps being respected, continuous up close candles being respected. So that is why I'm not fading this move lower. But I'm trusting that the 9:30 reaction is able to give me a potential 2R trade to some low hanging fruit targets above. And that is exactly what this trade was. I'm long here, targeting 2R, which was at 11 and a quarter for me. So right here. And you can see that gave me that very nicely. All price did was run out all the rest of this low resistance liquidity, which was inside of this hourly FVG. But that is why I was not holding my full position to London highs or anything like that. Just looking for a conservative 2R trade. And that was the entire logic. 3 minute order block entry off of the 4-hour sweep, off of the 4-hour fair value gap, SMT with ES, and 9:30 validated everything that I wanted to see. Amount of contracts, it varies on the account that I took. I only took one micro on my XFAs, so I risked $83 to make 164. On my Tradeify funded accounts, I risked 400, which only because I was supposed to risk 500, but I calculated the risk wrong because I have like 8 accounts that I'm copy trading. So I made 800 per those funded, and then I made 650 per my like 4 evals that I have. So 1600 plus 164. So almost an $1,800 day between 3 fundeds, and then 650 times 4 on evals. But I don't count evals, so $1,700 day pretty much. Um, where are you clicking to get your shortcut drawing tools? Down here? This thing? Where you have them pre-labeled? Oh, like this? Like if like this? That's what you mean? Yeah. It's just this line, like whenever it pops up, you go here, templates, and you can save them. It says save as drawing template. Like you just go in and type in what you want, and then you just save it. Anybody have any questions? No questions. Alright, y'all. Short and sweet. They'll be uploaded on YouTube for anybody who wants to watch it again. No problem, guys. Thanks for coming in. Have a great rest of your guys' day. Peace out.